In the pedagogical guide, are the basic planning, you can use that elementary dictionary for lesson planning when you decide you need to get in and teach some really high utility words. And basically the process, you could use a template. We have templates right in the guide, and I'm also going to give you websites where if you have a smartboard or you use LCD projector, you can get my PowerPoint templates and Microsoft Word. But just writing the word, copying the syllabication, getting the definition and example sentence right out. And often I use the example sentence maybe not to write it, but just to say it leading in. Other times I often leave their example sentence, I don't use it, and have them copy it afterward, go to the dictionary. But the one thing we need to do is we need to design an oral practice task. Sometimes I borrow their example sentence and use it for that. But here, for example, recently teaching the word tradition in a lesson for third graders using Open Court, and the reading was The Keeping Quilt, and it's all about traditions and items we pass down from generations. And they hadn't even highlighted tradition as a critical word. So I taught the big concept words because their words were like scamper and babushka. I'm thinking, oh, that'll really help them with a reading that's about generational values and tradition. So I engaged in the insurgent act of explicit vocabulary instruction and taught them the word tradition. And look at their example sentence. It's a tradition to give gifts on someone's birthday. But I borrowed that, and here's my slide right here. And I used it for my first example to have them fill in. But then my example, I got the inspiration right out of the dictionary too. There is a tradition in the US to eat blank on Thanksgiving Day. And so I used cranberry sauce, knowing that's not what would come to mind as my example, and told them all to think. And because it was a very multicultural classroom, they were saying things like, you know, to eat pumpkin pie, to eat apple pie, you know, to eat sweet potatoes. They all came up with different examples. But this explicit routine, I scripted out in the slides, but the pedagogical guide you're receiving has it scripted out. And you'll see the routine for explicitly teaching a word and then taking that same core routine and mapping it onto multiple meaning words as well as, or polysemous words, multiple meaning words, as well as academic word families. So if you're teaching traditional, and traditional